Hey, what's up everyone? Alex here. So this is going to be the final endgame puzzle for Othello Japan endgame puzzle solving, and it happens to be the last day of the year, so it should be a good one. This is a puzzle for White to play first, and essentially 200 people have tried it at this point in time. 164 people have won it, and only 35 people have won it in the first attempt. So I'm guessing that this puzzle isn't, too easy, considering that the typical solving percentage is probably somewhere between 30 to 60 for the first try, and this is looking at about 15%, perhaps. So let's take a look at the puzzle. So over here we have five empties to the top left, four empties to the bottom left. So that makes a total of 9 squares. You're white to play, you're going first. So essentially you have natural parity, so there isn't any skip in parity perhaps throughout the game. So if we were to look at just a pure, just looking at the 5 square to the top left and 4 square to the bottom, based on parity rules, you might understand that, hey, we should start with an odd region perhaps just to retain parity. But in this case, let's take a look. If we want to start in the top left region, we only have A4 and B2 options. B2 essentially just gives up the corner to A1 with a lot of stable disk for black. And considering black has the top edge and the right edge, that's probably not something you want to do and immediately give up even more stable disk to black. So we can almost rule out the first move being at B2. And in A4, if we were to play a diagonal cut across, it's quite typical to kind of just regroup in the mid game. But for the end game, you just need to be a little bit more mindful of potential pitfalls. So if you were to play A4, you open up the C6 disc that gives black a chance to establish his strength using the H1 corner and leading down to the main diagonal. So if A4 by white, black would play B7 and control the diagonal, and you're basically left with the 4 square top region whereby you only play B2 and give up the corner, and it's a parity region for black, or you have to play either A7 or B8, which basically flips the B7 X square and allows black to capture the A8 corner. And yeah, I don't think white would be able to win with that. So having said that, we can also safely eliminate A4 being the first move. So over here, we basically have just three options left to the bottom left. The X square is probably almost that straight elimination due to the nature that it gives up the corner unnecessarily. So I would say that it's safe to almost immediately eliminate B7, and we can then focus on A7 or B8. So let's take a look at A7 and B8. Let's just compare. So A7, so right now in this shape on the left edge, you can see that black and white, they have adjacent discs. They're contesting for the edge on the left. So a more defensive move would be to play A7 and just capture the edge so that you can control the tempo. But at the same time, if A7, B7, you're kind of stuck in a dilemma over here to the bottom. But if you were to play B8 and black can't play B7 basically because this is an entire row that allows you to swindle at A7. But black could potentially play some of the moves to the top left. So that's the concern right now. So in order to kind of tell the difference between A7 and B8, you probably need to look far ahead. Something that I admit I'm not the best at in the game at least, but we can have try and let's take a look and see how. So if we were to take A7 right now, chances are black is probably not going to jump into B7. So that would mean that we need to make the right assumptions in terms of black's response in order to count out lines. So white A7, if black were to go B7, it would just give me an easy corner, followed by black going here and white jumping here, and then followed by a closeout in parity. I think that would probably be enough for white. So just a quick count. 25 plus 3, that's 28 minus 1, 27, 30, 29, 32, 31, 33, and minus 6 potentially. No, minus 7, 33 minus 7 plus 7, so that would still give us a win. So it's safe to say that, black probably wouldn't play B7, but rather if I were to play A7, black probably wouldn't close off this as well. If black were to play A3, it will immediately close off and allow me to play B8 and force him over here to the X square and capture the corner. So it's safe to say that A3 is also out of the question, probably not B2 or A2 as well. So white, black is probably a high chance of happening. So we can count out that line. 25 plus 3, 28. 28 minus 2 when black plays to a4. That's 26. If I were to ignore it and just play to b8, just to give up the corner and the parity, and regain parity essentially. So let's see, 25, 28, 26. So 26 plus, if I were to play b8, that's 28, 28. I lose 3 over here. Black takes the corner. 25 left, plus 2, 27, 27. Minus 4, 23, plus 7, that's 30. So 30, black only has these two choices. So if black were to play to, just trying to visualize here because it's hard. 29, that's enough. 29 plus 5, 29 plus 4, that should be enough as well. So I'm thinking that a7 allows me to win by 33 to 31 either way, based on that sequence that I counted out, if I didn't count it wrongly. And then followed by b8. Let's consider the b8 sequence. What happens if white were to play b8? So we get 27 this. Black does not go to b7 because that would create a swindle and multiple tempo for me. So high chance that black would either play a2 or a4 essentially in response to that. So if black were to play a2, I can feed off the edge, the unbalanced edge, and followed by this sandwich in. So that's an easy line to count as well. So 25 plus 2, 27, minus 3, 24. Sorry, 25 plus 2, 27, minus 1, if we were to consider a2 response first. So that's 26 for us. 28 minus 4, 24, plus 2, 26. Minus 3 plus 3, that's still 26. Minus 4 down the line, 22. 22 plus 7 plus 5, that would give us 34. So that's fairly safe. So the only concern right now is probably white and black. So white, black. So that's 27 minus 3, 24. Plus 2, 26. Minus 3 plus 3, that's still 26. Minus 4. So that gives us 22 plus 7, 29. 29 minus 128. So that could be a concern. We might lose with the b8 to a4 response. So I think a7 is probably the safer bet. So let's go with a7. Okay, so this was kind of unexpected. I wasn't really expecting black to retaliate with a2. So probably a little mistake on my part. So right now black is threatening to play a4 to attack the corner. So let's see whether it's possible to defend it. So one way to potentially defend it is to play a4 just to secure the edge. Another way is to threaten the corner myself. So yeah, I guess if this were a tough endgame in an actual game, I might have timed out already, given how long I'm taking just to decide. So if we were to ignore it and play b8 and black attacks, you'll have to feed off the edge. Let me just try to count out this sequence because this was an unexpected move in retaliation. Black, white, black. It's probably a concern as well. So I think the best option for us right now is just to leave it be. Play b8, 29, minus 128. If we were to play this, 32 minus 5, 27, 29. 29, we lose 6 this over here, 23, and we may not have enough, actually that's 30. So that is kind of a concern right now for me. So maybe a7 is probably not the winning move, perhaps. If I were to play this, 30, black would play this, minus 3, 27. 27 plus 3, that's 30, minus 4, 26. That still would not be enough. Seems like this might have been a mistake on my part to start off with a7 because I didn't expect a2. Let's see, what else can we do? Can we threaten this? Any retaliation to the left would result in black just force-feeding the edge and keeping this strong diagonal over here, so that's a problem. White, black, white. 29, 28, 22, 22, 25, 19, that's not enough. So it seems like it's not enough either way. So let's give it a go. Probably the safer option is to close off parity. What happens if we feed here 29 minus 7, 22, 24, 24, 20? That's still not enough. I guess that was a mistake. So let's try the earlier other move, perhaps. Okay, so black is responding actually to b2, so unfortunately we didn't solve it in the first try. We probably want to try to consider how to continue for parity. So black playing b2 actually creates an even region, so that makes it extra difficult. If we would want to play along the spindle, we need to play some move here. Let's count out the force line though. 21 plus 3, 24 minus 3, 21. 21 plus 8, 29 minus 3, 26. 26 plus 6 minus 1, 31 plus 2. So actually that kind of potentially wins the game, perhaps. Since this is a force line, it's still a draw line, so it's not right, but we're getting close. So it's just a 2-disk difference, so it looks like b8 potentially could be the right starting move. Maybe we need to carve out parity this way, playing the x square. So maybe we need the long edge over here. Let's see. 30 minus 3, 27. And we won. Okay, so that's kind of surprising. So unfortunately, this is probably not the best model way to kind of win, but at least in terms of the elimination method, we basically managed to secure the first move correctly, and then followed by second move just to force out parity to close off this region. To prevent black from using the H to its strength, perhaps. But usually just trying to figure out that 1 or 2 this difference might be extremely difficult. So, yeah, essentially, over here we don't want to play any moves over here to a3 and a4 because we don't want to obstruct ourselves from clearing this full diagonal. So that's the reason why I elected to go with a1. And followed by a1, either way, the parity region still doesn't look very nice, but if we were to play this move, we get plus 3 minus 5. This one is plus 3 minus 3. So in terms of just hard counting a3 and a4 differences, it's still better to just go along with a3. And then finally we get the corner. Somehow there's enough this in this case. So thank you very much for joining me, and I wish all of you a happy new year, and see you in the next year and the next episode. Goodbye.